Good morning, everybody. I want to welcome you here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So we're back here on August the 13th for our run number 19 of my favorite 4-album runs for the month of August. This is a series that we're running for the month of August in which I pick 31 bands who had at least a 4-album run that I considered to be good, solid, or great, or better. Absolutely killer. We've done now, I guess we've done 12 of those runs already. This will be the next run in the series, so it's the 19th from the top, August the 13th, as I've already said. So we're going to talk about these albums. So the first one in this run, so for Jethro Tull, the run could have started just about anywhere. There's so many good albums with them, but the problem with the runs was that there was 2 albums that interrupted for 4-album runs on some of the later albums. One of them was Catfish Rising, which hasn't gone into my playlist yet, but it's up there along with A. Both of those albums could have made 4-album runs in there, but because they haven't been played yet and I'm not as familiar with them, I didn't want to do that. The other one was the rock and roll album. It's the one I don't own. It's one of, I think, 2 albums I don't own by them. I think the Christmas album is the other one. But both good, but I haven't listened to them enough to really give them a chance. So I started this run where I think there is another excellent 4-album run. So we're going to start with this album, Jethro Tull's Stand Up album, their second studio album. Great artwork on here. You can see a little bit of a behind view here too, kind of funny looking actually. But so you got the 4-album run that starts here with this one. This album, of course, has Beret and Fat Man and some of the other deep cuts on this album too. Absolutely a killer album. An album that kind of beginning that Jethro Tull sound, like that progressive kind of folky but bluesy with a lot of classical parts in there as well. So they are an excellent band that mixes all those elements together. And it starts here with this album, Stand Up, which I like quite a bit. It's one of my favorite of their albums. The next album on the list of albums to come is this one, Benefit. This is a really good album too. Doesn't really have any of those really known, fantastic radio songs that Jethro Tull's known for, but every track, all the deep cuts on here are thick, really good. This album continues that sound that you got on Stand Up, but it gets more progressive, a lot more bluesy as well, I think. Not bluesy, I mean a lot more folk sound to this album as well. And it's heavier. I think this is a heavier album than Stand Up. A very solid album. Definitely deserves to be on a run. And that's why Benefit here is the second album, their 3rd studio album in the run. The next album needs no introduction. This is probably their most famous album, Aqualung. Of course, with the Aqualung man on the cover. Excellent artwork here and on the back as well. This particular edition has all the songs that were on the original album, plus about a half a dozen other songs added, as most Tull albums do. And this one also has an interview right at the end, which was really well done. This album is proliferated with rock radio classics, such as Cross-Eyed Mary, Aqualung. Where is it? I'm looking for it here. See, the problem is I don't have them. Oh, there they are. I left my glasses. I thought I left them in the front room, but here they are. So this will help me. Mother Goose, of course. Up to Me. Yeah, it's just, and you got Hymn number 45 is on here. Locomotive Breath, of course. Everybody knows that. For me, songs like Wind Up, My God, these are all like really solid, deep cut Jethro Tull songs too. Cheap Day Return, just an absolute killer album. Very kind of Tull sounding, like maybe the most Tull sounding album if you want. Lots of acoustic parts, lots of flute, lots of classical sounds. It's got its heavy moments as well. You know, songs like Cross-Eyed Mary and Locomotive Breath have that really kind of heavy part to them as well. And then you get a little bit of that bluesy sound too, but not as much as you did at the beginning of their career. And then we get to the final album on this list. This is their fifth studio album. I don't know if it's definitely a very different album than any of the other stuff up to this point. So you've got their attempt at a concept album, Thick as a Brick here, with their kind of goofy looking cover here. It's supposed to be a newspaper with a picture of Winston Churchill presenting this guy with an award for writing such a wonderful album. It's actually all fictional. It's kind of a Monty Python kind of feel to it. Thick as a Brick and Thick as a Brick 2 are both sides. So you got two sides of this album, both of them one song. Yeah, they decided to go extreme on the progressive sound, making an entire album into one song. But both sides are fantastic. You also have an interview on this particular album with Ian Anderson, Martin Barr, and Jeffrey Hammond. And of course, there is an 11-minute live part on the album, which is live at Madison Square Garden with them doing 11 minutes of the song Thick as a Brick. Yeah, absolutely killer. This is one considered by many to be one of their best, if not their best album. So there you go, Thick as a Brick, ending it off. So for the run, we have Stand Up, their second studio album, Benefit, their third studio album, Aqualung, their fourth studio album, and finishes off with Thick as a Brick, which is their fifth studio album. Absolutely killer run, one of the best runs. I don't know if it'll end up being the best Jethro Tull run. They've got some absolute fantastic later albums too that I could have easily included here had it be, if it wasn't for one album. There's like 3 or 4 spots where there's one album I either don't own, I haven't listened to, or I didn't like. There's only a few Jethro Tull albums that I really haven't warmed up to, and Passion Play is one of them. The next album, which kind of breaks up a little bit as well. And then you have actually, I think Passion Play comes after. People correct me, but did they not pass on Passion Play to put out War Child and then went back and played Passion Play after that? I think that's what happened, but I could be wrong. And that kind of breaks up that monotony of albums that I would have put in as well. But anyways, this is a absolute killer foursome. If you haven't listened to these albums, you need to listen to them if you're into progressive rock, especially the last one here, Thick as a Brick. Fantastic album. Anyways, please hit the like and subscribe and make your comments in the comment section, and don't forget the notification bell. We will be back tomorrow with another album in this series of runs, my favorite 4 album runs. Sorry, I wanted to say that right. And I will see you then. Take care and have a good evening. Bye.